What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Jake from Citizen JV, and today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And, this video has been in the works for quite some time. I've been really trying to find the time to finally make a video on this as of today, but we are finally getting underway at what I really want to talk about this game in general. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed Valhalla more than I did with Odyssey. I have made a video on Odyssey, and I have actually had some really good comments on it, and maybe some positive and negative ones. But however, I think what really makes Valhalla stand out from that of Odyssey, yes, it still has some of that grind from Origins and from Odyssey as well, but I actually had more fun with the grind in Valhalla than I did with Odyssey, because it's Norse mythology. I do believe that when it comes to different types of mythologies, whether if it's ancient Egypt or ancient Greece or Norse mythology as Valhalla, what it shows and how it plays. But however, I think when it comes to Valhalla, I love its world, much like what I love the world of ancient Greece or ancient Egypt and Origins. And that's why I believe that when it comes to this newer franchise of Assassin's Creed, it really goes to show you of what these games really are. And that's why I believe that's where the first Assassin's Creed back in 2007 did, and venturing on towards the Renaissance Italy and Rome and Revelations with Constantinople, or as in somewhat era and Turkey. And I like that. I think it's a really cool aspect and concept of where these games have come a long way of having very unique settings. And that's where I believe that I'm hoping where Mirage is coming out this year, October 12th of 2023. And I'm really loving that game so far. I really like the way how it looks so far, how the parkour system is going to be like in that game. But overall, I'm utterly excited for it. I can't wait. But however, we are venturing off topic about Valhalla. Now, Valhalla, I believe, is one of those games to where it's not just part of the newer Assassin's Creed franchise that we already have so far. Opposite that of Odyssey and Origins, but however, I think what Valhalla does for me as a gamer and as an Assassin's Creed fan, what I will say, it definitely plays that of not much of an Assassin's Creed game. But I really feel like that Valhalla somewhat did a little bit better with the combat systems than what the combat systems were in Odyssey. Even though Odyssey does have a robust, more fluid gameplay of the gameplay systems in Odyssey. But I think when it comes to Valhalla, I think it does a very much better job with the combat system, in my personal opinion, because I feel that Valhalla just does something. It feels a little bit more, not grindy, should I say. It's definitely a lot more gore. Because, when it comes to the Viking mythos, or its lore, or its mythology and all that kind of stuff, it really substantiates itself by determining of what kind of a game it is. And I think that's where Valhalla just does a better job in that so many different types of aspects. And that's what I love about Valhalla versus Odyssey, in my personal opinion. However, I have had multiple videos on my channel, and I was talking about Doom 2016 versus Doom Eternal. And I hate to say this, I actually had to delete those videos because I felt like that I was being more too negative on those rather than positive, and hence the reason why I deleted them. So my apologies on that. I did have quite a few views on both of them, but I didn't have that much of a choice, because it's not because of the negative comments that I was having on those videos. It's just that I just didn't think that they were all that great. And that's another reason why I deleted them. But however, I'm not going to do that with this video. So, what I really want to talk about more about Valhalla, I love the concept of these new Assassin's Creed games. I think they're fantastic. I think they're one of the best I've seen opposite of that of what the originals back in the day did. You know, much like Assassin's Creed 2007 or 2 or Brotherhood or Revelations, those were the old school Assassin's Creeds. Now, going forward with Valhalla, I think Valhalla is more heavily influenced more on its combat mechanics than anything else. Even though that this game does have some parkour systems involved, it's just not as robust or intricately designed as to what the original Assassin's Creed games did. And that's where Valhalla kind of falters just a little bit on the parkour systems, but in a way it still works, but it's just not as good as what the originals did. You know, to me it makes sense. And I'm sure that, you know, when this video gets uploaded on my channel, I'm sure that this video will probably either get some negative or positive feedback on it. It is what it is. But one thing in particular I would really like to address here is that but here's one thing I do like about Valhalla compared to that of Odyssey. Not with the combat mechanics. It has to do with the gear. I think Valhalla did a really much better job with its gear setting or its gear mechanics than Odyssey's, because I felt like in Odyssey it was more on the lines that, yes, even though that these newer Assassin's Creeds like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, they are based on the loot system because of the role-playing mechanics and aspects of it and the concepts. But, however, I felt like in Valhalla, it's a much better loot mechanic system than from that of Odyssey. I mean, like I said, I'm sure I'll probably get some negative feedback on this, but I don't care. But here's the thing. I felt like when it came to the loot mechanics or the concept in Valhalla, I felt like it's not as bad as Odyssey's, in my personal opinion. And what I mean by this, in Odyssey, the loot mechanic system, or the loot systems, it was, to me, I felt like it was atrocious and poorly executed. And like I said, I need to explain this a little bit better. What I mean by that, it's the fact that in Odyssey, the loot mechanics or the loot systems, it was way too much. I mean, you were able to get any types of different loot, no matter what rarity it was, whether if it was common, purple, legendary, or vice versa. Every single piece of loot that you were able to get in Odyssey, it was more. It was a little bit intricate, but it's not as intricate as it is in Valhalla, because the loot system in Odyssey was very much more sporadic. It was always a constant, you know, and that's where like I said, that's where Valhalla does the loot system much better than from Odyssey, because you're always constantly finding loot in Odyssey, and sometimes that loot in Odyssey was always going to be better than your previous equipment that you already had initially put on, whether if you're playing as Alexios or Cassandra. And that's where I feel like where Odyssey kind of falters with the loot systems. Is, like I said, I know I'll probably maybe get a little bit of flack on this. Like I said, I don't care. But that's where I'm going with this, and that's where I feel like where Valhalla just does something better with the loot systems. Yes, I made a previous video recently, and I was talking about loadouts. And the loadouts, you do have loadouts in Valhalla. But what you got to do is that you have to upgrade your armory in order to get more specific types of loadouts. But however, I was actually able to upgrade it to the next tier of the armory, and I was able to unlock another loadout for Eivor, whether if you're playing as female Eivor or male Eivor. It doesn't matter. So, I kind of found that a little I found that a little awkward. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I did that, because if you want different types of loadouts, especially in a game like this, or that of Odyssey, you can be able to switch between different types of gear sets. If you want to go more brawler, you can do that. You have like a wolf brawler, or you have like a bear brawler gear set, or you can go more on the Raven side, which is going to be more stealth oriented. You can also do that as well, and that's why I like the fact that what Valhalla does from what Odyssey did. You weren't able to have any type of loadouts in Origins, for what I understand, because you were pretty much like an all-out brawler or assassin in Origins, and I kind of like that quite a bit, because so that way you don't have to constantly switch your loadouts every single time like you had to do in Odyssey or Valhalla. Now, there is one thing I would like to put in here real quick too, is that this game, I believe, ended up getting its last update as of, I think, was it earlier this year or late of last year. And so, what I will say here is that there is a quest in Valhalla, hence the reason why I'm making this video, it is called the Raven and the Cuckoo. And I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but there is a Mirage Easter egg, Assassin's Creed Mirage Easter egg in this game, and that's all I will say, because this is the reason why I'm making this video, so that way you can be able to know what's going on. However, I do have a video that is uploaded on my channel as well, with the full quest, without any kind of commentary, so feel free to go watch that video as you want, as much as you want to. And please feel free to make any kind of comments that you might have. I'll be more than happy to reply back if you have any comments or questions at all on that specific video. But now, that's right. That's another thing I was going to mention, is that Valhalla does not have a New Game Plus. And I am thoroughly disappointed with Ubisoft about this, because there was a time to where it's like I really wanted to replay this game again. With all my gear, with all my skills and everything, being that overpowered barbarian, Norse, Viking, and that's what I love about this game, though, too. It's like you can do whatever you want in this game. But, like I said, they should have implemented a New Game Plus. I don't understand why they didn't. And it's kind of disheartening, because I kind of felt like that they were kind of... I feel like that when it comes to New Game Plus mode, especially in single-player games, you're kind of like losing out some of your fan base. But that's just my own personal opinion. So, that's all I can say. But like I said, Ubisoft, I'm going to tell you right now, you made an utter and terrible mistake of not putting a New Game Plus in this game. That's all I'm going to say. But overall, I really think that Valhalla is still a really good, magnificent game. I really do believe it's... I had so much fun with this game, and I still have a lot of fun with this game. And, sometimes you do feel like an assassin in this game, but it's just not very well implemented like it was like in Origins. I felt like in Origins it was a much better fluidity of, being able to switch between either being a more combat-focused or a stealth-focused in Origins, and you were able to do that. I love that. But I felt more like an assassin in Origins than I did in Valhalla and in Odyssey, because that's my own personal opinion. Now, what I will say about this too is that I think that Valhalla still but it still feels that of an Assassin's Creed game, even though it's really not. But however, they do have some really cool, intricately designed assassin bureaus in this game, and that's another thing what I loved about Valhalla though too, is that they were able to show assassin bureaus in this game, and I think they actually have... I don't think they were assassin's bureaus; they were more like assassin's tombs. But however, it still brought back a little bit of memories from that of the original games, and that's what I loved about this aspect about Valhalla as well. But what I really want to put in here too is I really think that Valhalla, I still do believe that it's a much better game from that of Odyssey, in my personal opinion. And, I'm sorry for my repetition on this, but I'm still going to hold myself to that, because I just think that when it comes to these newer titles that we have now, opposite that of, Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out later this year, within the next few months. And so I will be making content on that game as well. So stay tuned for that when that game comes out. in October. But I think Valhalla just... I love the setting of Valhalla. It's very captivating. I mean, I know all Assassin's Creed games that we have had from the very first one and up to now, they have all had unique and amazing concepts of its settings, and that's where these games really don't falter on that. They really don't, and I think it's just fabulous of what these games were able to initially to do in terms of that concept of showing where these eras can take place when it comes to the Assassin's Creed universe games that we've had for the past few years, and as of now, of course. But now, what I really want to discuss here, though, too, is the combat. I kind of want to talk about the combat a little bit. I found out that, the combat, I find it a little bit more satisfying than Odyssey's in a sort of way, because it's like I said, it's more... the combat just feels like it's a lot more fluid than it was in Odyssey's, because I actually recently re-downloaded Odyssey not too long ago, and I played maybe about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, because I was making a video on that game as well. And so it's like I finally realized that how much Odyssey's combat can be a little too finicky at times, but I found when it comes to Valhalla, it's not as finicky. It's a little bit more... I feel like it's more intricately more designed than in Odyssey's, because, like I said before, Valhalla it's more heavily combat focused and less stealth focused, but you can do stealth. So that's all I gotta say about that. Now, here's one thing I will readily admit, is that I do believe that in Odyssey, the stealth was not very good. Yeah, I mean, it was okay, but it still wasn't the best. However, when it comes to Valhalla, its stealth mechanics is a little bit better than Odyssey's, but, enemies can still find you. And I found out that, when it's come to the stealth mechanics in Odyssey and Valhalla, you were actually able to get noticed pretty quickly. I mean, you were able to get that a little bit in Origins as well, but I felt like in Origins, the stealth mechanics was a little bit... It was better organically than Origins and Valhalla, than Odyssey and Valhalla, excuse me. And so, that's all I gotta say about that. Like I said, it's all based on opinion, of course, and that's what it should be. And so, like I said, it is what it is. Now, what I really want to put in here, though, too, is this is why I'm really glad that Assassin's Creed Mirage is looking really good. And so, what I really want to put in here real quick, though, too, is that I believe a lot of people are criticizing and or complaining way too much about that mark and execute system that they are putting into Assassin's Creed Mirage. And to me personally, I don't care. I don't care what other people say about it. I'm sure it's going to be some sort of type of gameplay mechanical way of, being able to use it or not to use it. You could possibly maybe turn it on and off. I'm sure that there's probably going to be that type of option. I could be wrong. But what I'm just saying, it's like, I just think that people are just being way too critical of it. But it's like this. I understand that some people don't like it. Me personally, it really doesn't bother me. Because what I will put here too as well is that they had a mark and execute system in the later Splinter Cell games, much like I believe it was in Blacklist and in Conviction, Splinter Cell Conviction, and it's like I said, I understand why they put it. I understand why they put it in. I understand why people are, criticizing it so badly. But like I said, to me personally, it doesn't bother me. And there's a reason why it doesn't bother me all that much, is because I'm going to say this. Who cares? It's a video game. I know it might sound... maybe I might maybe I'm being a little hypocritical here, but like I said, I don't care. That's what I'm saying. And so all I can say, going back to Valhalla, if you really want to play an Assassin's Creed game that doesn't really play much of an Assassin's Creed game, but it still plays like one to a certain degree because you can do stealth, you can use the hidden blade, but the hidden blade in Valhalla is reversed, and it's like up on your... It's above rather than like underneath your wrist by using it normally as an assassin's blade. So that I kind of found that a little too... It was interesting, but I kind of found out that it was kind of rather weird at the same time. But I guess that's where they wanted to have the concept go with in Valhalla. They wanted to have it different, but still feel like that you're an assassin because you have that hidden blade. So what I want to put here is that I really think Valhalla is still a great game. I think it's... Like I said, I do believe that it is semi-better than Odyssey. But if I'm going to do this and determine which of these new Assassin's Creed games are my favorites, I would have to go with Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And that is my order of my number 1 to my number 3. And so what I want to put here is that I really greatly appreciate for what I've been doing. I've been greatly appreciated of the followers that I've been getting. And I love the fact that I'm getting some really nice feedback and maybe some negative, but that doesn't bother me all that much. It really doesn't. It's just like what I'm trying to say is that I am learning to take the criticism as much as I can, because I feel like that when you get criticism, you're just going to have to take it in and just... It is what it is. So that's all I can say. But anyways, too much further ado, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to reply back if and whenever possible. And you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Peace.
I wonder if I shall ever learn more of her story.